Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lowndes, the host, your friend, your coach. Today, we're kicking off day 2 of the 5-day podcast launch challenge for the US, Canada, Australia, and class for January 2025. And it's going to be great. Let's get going. All right. Okay. Before we start, so today we're going to be talking about the one thing that's very important is to really understand why podcasting can be so tremendously powerful, and more specifically for you as a person and for your business. But before we start, any question about yesterday? Anything, any question, comments, compliments, anything? What did you guys think of yesterday, day 1?
It was amazing and inspiring and informational, and it was really good.
Awesome.
Really,
Delight to hear that. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So let's get going then in that case. So before even, I'd like to keep it more interactive. The first thing I want to talk about is why do you think podcasting is so powerful? Let's hear a few people here, at least 1 or 2 people. Don't be shy. Tell us, why do you think podcasting is so powerful? Before I dive in and start.
Because it is a very effective way to expand our impact. Instead of talking to one person, we can talk to as many people as possible. There is no limit there.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great answer. Anyone else wants to add to it?
It's a great way for people to like, know, and trust you, and it's for posterity, so anybody can watch it, forever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Lorna, I saw you unmuted yourself. You want to say something? Go ahead, my friend.
I was going to say a part of it as well. It seems that when people are sharing things, then it's that place of, oh, I can connect with you. And because of it being digital, that people can share back and forth. So it really, in some ways, creates a sense of community.
Mhm.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So, and it can be, there's there's some that are just the audio, some that are the video. So there are different ways that allow people to connect in on ways that they like, visual learners versus just auditory. There's the ones that what's convenient, what's their learning style. So many reasons.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. These are amazing uh, reasons. So let's dive in. So podcasting, what makes podcasting so powerful for business is first and foremost because it's a phenomenal way for you to simply share your story. And the process of sharing your story, you will be sharing how you've overcome whatever challenge you've overcome, and in the process displaying your expertise. And by doing so, you will allow your audience, the people that really resonate with you, identify with you, relate with you, to really get to know you. That's the first building blocks of building trust and rapport. As we covered yesterday, business, especially high ticket selling, is about one thing and one thing only: trust. Now, how do you build that trust? By building rapport. How do you build that rapport? By simply having heart to heart conversations. And once you do that, you will have an unmatched and intimate connection with your audience that no other medium can even come close to. So, as I mentioned before many times, what is business at the core? Uh, Business is not a numbers game. Sure, numbers matter, but ultimately, it's a relationship nurturing process. We do business with people we like, relate, and trust. And podcasting is by far the best way to build that trust, that rapport, and that connection. Not just with random people, but the people that really are your tribe, people that really resonate with you, identify with you, that they can see themselves as one of them. That's very important. And once you put all of that together, that's really some of the part of what makes podcasting so powerful. Now, why is podcasting the best way to connect with your exact ideal audience, listeners, and prospect? Again, because when someone listens to your podcast, it's for three main reasons. Sure, they're interested in your topic that you're talking about, but also because they can relate with you, they can identify with you, they can resonate with your message, and more important is because after someone listening to you and your podcast after a few episodes, they start to like you, they start to like your personality, sense of humor, and so on and so forth, and they will see you as one as a friend, even though they may have never met you. How many of you guys listen regularly to podcast here? Raise your hand. What's your favorite podcast, Madlina, other than mine?
It depends. There is no favorite. You listen to someone
Mm-hmm.
and you feel the energy. Do you
Yes.
resonate with with the authenticity of this person? And is this person authentic, or is only here to fill the space with no judgment? So
Mm,
we can listen to different podcasts, and of course
sure.
yours is a very powerful and very authentic
Thank
one.
you. I appreciate it. So, how do you view someone that you've been listening on a podcast after a few days, few weeks? How do you view that person? Do you view them as a complete stranger, or do you view them more like a friend?
Well, it depends how authentic they are.
Yes.
And we all know the power of the life story.
Mm-hmm.
If a person is authentic and you feel that, and they touch your heart because they speak from their heart to the heart of the listeners, then you automatically open your heart for this person and see him and feel him and her, of course, as a friend.
Absolutely. So basically, yeah, absolutely. When when you listen to someone for a while, you feel like you know them. You feel that they're a good friend of yours, and as a result of that, you trust them. You trust their recommendations, and you may be feeling even compelled to reach out to them. Hey, I've been listening to your podcast for a while. I'd love to see how you can help me. And when you do that, it opens the world to magic. You don't have to, you're no longer being chased. You're no longer chasing people, you're the one being chased. What do you think is the most valuable currency in the world of business and today's world?
Relationship and connection.
Yes, but before you even get to that, start with an A and ends with an N.
I was going to say authentic, but that's not an "and" at the end.
Oh, that's a great one. Yeah. Sharon? All right. Attention. Attention is the most valuable currency in the world because before you even have an opportunity to build trust, to be authentic, you need to catch your attention. Especially in today's world with us being bombarded with all these notifications, all these messages, videos, all of that. What are they saying that today's the average adult's attention span is less than even less than a goldfish. A goldfish is 3 seconds, and ours is what 2 seconds. Always swiping, 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 like this. How do you stand out? How do you catch that person's attention? So again, this is why attention is the most valuable currency in the world of business because that opens the world for all of the other things. And also, when someone listens to the radio or the TV, it's usually loud. There's a lot of distraction around you. But when someone listens to a podcast, even more so, when someone listens to your podcast, it's only them and their earbuds. Or maybe if they're driving, it's just them in the car with that person. Sure, they might be thinking, but there's no other distraction. And this is why, as a result, you get to have an intimate, really connection. You have the full attention in ways that no other mediums can even come close to. Do you guys see how that is powerful? Just having someone an earbud. And yes, of course, we're only going to listen to someone that's going to be authentic. But the people that we listen to, it's a given that they will be authentic because otherwise would not be even bothering and wasting our times. So this is why when you listen to someone, I mean, podcasting is what's going to really allow you to connect at a much deeper level with anyone with your exact tribe, way better than anything else. I haven't found any other medium or platform that comes even close to podcasting. Because especially when you do long form interviews with someone, when you get to know them, hey, there's no other distraction. When you're going to podcast yourself, it's just you and them. Same thing here. And when someone listens to that, the same process. So again, this is why it's so powerful, and this is why podcasting really catches your attention. Once you catch your attention, that's when it opens the doors for you to share your story, display your expertise, give them an opportunity to get to know you, and for them to know you and in the process, and which opens the door to building trust, rapport, and so on and so forth. Now, who is podcasting for? Podcasting, there's a line that says facts tell, stories sell. We as a human beings, we've been operating, doing business since the dawn of time. First, it was around the bonfire, then around boardrooms, and now it's around online. It's about by sharing stories. There's a saying that says facts tell, stories sell. People love telling stories, and any business, whether it's online, offline, whatever happens in your business, whether it's a new client, new customer, new deal, new launch, whatever it is, book, course, program, speech, whatever it is, good experience, bad experience, these are stories, and stories are worth telling and sharing. So whether you're just starting your business or already an established business, podcasting, as long as you deal with human beings, podcasting is going to be allow you to do that, to share stories, to connect, to inspire, to empower, or even maybe to make someone laugh in a good way. So, but specifically the people that will benefit the more from a podcast are authors, coaches, professionals, entrepreneurs who have a valuable transformational skill. Even more so if you have an offer of at least $1,000 or higher. Raise your hand if you currently already have a business and with an offer of at least $1,000 or more. Okay. So for that, it's going to really allow you to benefit tremendously. Now let's see to make sure that we're on the same page here. Why do you think that for you podcasting is gonna really help you to connect to the ideal clients and get more clients? Let's see. Let's hear you guys. I would love to hear before I tell you more about that. Who wants to go first? How do you
As I heard the question, is why will podcast help me to get my ideal clients? Is that it?
Yes,
And to
yes,
sell more?
yes.
Because people will self-select. They will choose the ones that number one, they resonate with, that are speaking to what it is that can offer things that would solve their problems, that would take them on the journey that they want to go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, I'm going to share with you now some very powerful reasons from my own experience of my students and people I know, of how podcasting has been completely a game changer. First, before I'm going to share about how they've helped me personally become a better person. So again, and these benefits for you personally, as a man, as a woman, as a human being, from my experience, my personal opinion, are much more valuable than any financial gain you can get from a podcast, because it allows you to become a better person. Let's say, for example, the typical example, your goal is $1 million. Sure, it's amazing when you get the $1 million, but even more powerful, more valuable, more priceless, the people you become in the process, the skills you gain, the connections you make, and so on and so forth. So these are some of the reasons these are all from my own personal experience. So first and foremost, of course, it's going to be a beautiful platform that allows you to share your story, and document your journey. That's powerful. People want to see a progress. People want to see how you've evolved. In the process, you will make amazing friendships around the world. Now I'm blessed to have incredible friends from around the world. Each time I go to a new place, I look at my podcast, my networks, hey, who might be in this area? And I just message them, and you'd be surprised. I've met quite a few of the people I met on my podcast that way. And here's a very big one, probably one of the best, most compelling reasons for a podcast. It gives you access to people you normally wouldn't. Let's say, for example, you just saw someone on TV, on the radio, you just read an article about them or whatever, and you would love to connect with them. What do you think would happen if you were to just do the typical thing that most people do, which is send them a cold message on Facebook, LinkedIn, or wherever? What do you think would happen if you were to approach them that way? For example, let's do some role playing. Hey, Sharon, I just saw you on TV. I love which, hey, Sharon, I would love to pick up your brains. I just saw you on TV. If I were to cold message you that way and you don't know me, what would be your reaction?
Probably too busy to respond. Like,
That's it. Get ignored, not even see it. But what if I were to do it in different ways? Say, for example, hey, Lorna, my name is Payman. I'm the host of the Lead Vibe podcast. I just saw you on TV. I love what you're doing. And I would love to showcase you in one of my next podcast episodes. What would be your reaction to that approach?
That initial thing of the intrigue, and then it would be drawn into it. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I will tell you something. Over the last 4 years and almost 400 amazing guests I've had on my podcast, only 2 people have said no to be on my podcast using the same approach. One was a lady about to give birth. Of course, we had to reschedule it, and she was on my podcast a few weeks later. And the second one was a gentleman was about to be transferred by his company from the US to Germany. So we had to reschedule again. But no one has told me outright, nope, not interested. Why do you think that is?
People want to and love to tell their stories. It's a part about being accepted for who they are and just being seen.
That's it. Doesn't matter how small your podcast may be. And in 4 years, only 2 or 3 people ask me, so how many subscribers do you have? How many downloads or views do you get? And when I tell them, for me, it's not about the numbers, but the connection, they understand. So the beautiful thing is, there's absolutely no limit who you can target. Don't self-censor, self-sabotage. Hey, even go for the moon, even can, send a message, maybe not to Tony Robbins, but someone maybe on his team. You never know. Instead of saying, why bother? Say, what if he answers? What if he or she answers? Then it's game over. I had one of my students from a year ago. She was doing a Kickstarter for a children's book. And after talking to her, getting to know her, she said one of the person that really inspired her was Elon Musk. Say, hey, why don't you send a copy of your book with a sign at the bottom to him? Sure, 99% is not going to even see it, but what if he sees it? What if he or someone on his staff gets to open it, makes a tweet, or makes just a post on Facebook? That's going to put your business on the map. So again, don't self-sabotage, self-limit yourself. Go for the moon. Go for galaxies, Andromeda, whatever. Don't limit yourself. And that's the beautiful thing about podcasting. You get access to people you normally wouldn't get access, because everybody wants to be on a podcast. You interviewing someone, regardless of how small your audience or your podcast may be, you're doing them a favor because you're making them look good. And then they can leverage that. That's going to allow them to further cement the visibility, the credibility, and all that. So again, that's one of the main compelling reasons of a podcast. You get access to people normally wouldn't. That's gold. Then, from a personal perspective, it's going to allow you to learn so much more about yourself. I can't tell you how many times, guys, after re-listening to my podcast before launching them, I caught myself saying, wait a second, did I really say that? Where is that coming from? I say things that I would not normally say in normal interaction. Once I get on a call with someone, it's almost as I've become, I wouldn't say possessed, but almost like information being channeled through me, getting access to my higher self. I can't tell you guys how many times I caught myself saying, wait, is that really you? Where's that coming from? Information I didn't even know I had or I knew. And the process of getting to know yourself. For me, as I shared with you yesterday, one of the greatest blessings of podcasting has been that of overcoming my shyness. I used to be the most shy guy in the world. And if you ask me to speak publicly, I would rather die than talk in front of people. And by people, I mean friends and family. Forget about people I don't know or business. But now, hey, bring it on. But again, it's been a journey. It's been a journey 4 years in the making. But that's one of the best blessings for me. I'm no longer shy. And that opens the world to me. Another big major personal benefit of podcasting is it's going to allow you to improve your communication and listening skills. One of my biggest pet peeves when I listen to other podcasts, when I go to meet people, is when someone always interrupts you, doesn't let you finish. That's one of the worst qualities you can have as a podcaster, as a host. Let them finish. Of course, I used to be that guy, always trying to butt in, trying to tell my side. But listen, when you're a podcast, when you're a host, it's not about you. You're just a host. The star is a guest. Let the person speak. And I've become much better in that. I've had so many people compliment me saying, hey, wow, it's the first time that I've been on a call on a podcast where the other person doesn't interrupt me, lets me finish. That's an incredible skill to have. Because when you do that, you're showing to the person that, hey, I actually do care about you. You matter, and you make the other person feel seen and heard, as opposed to always trying to butt in. So again, these are some invaluable skills that you can use and leverage for your personal life. So, and also listening skills. I used to always try to, blah, 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 but now I listen more than I speak. That's why God gave us 2 ears and only one mouth, because we need to listen twice as much than blah, 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 blah. Even though sometimes when I get talking, it can't stop me, but that's a different story. And of the course of 4 years, after talking to over 400 amazing people with inspiring, empowering, goosebump-inducing stories, it's gonna make it made me and it's gonna make you a much more interesting person to talk to, because you have all these experiences to draw from, all these lessons, morals, and all that. So again, these are very valuable. You can always, when you're talking to someone, oh, that reminds me of this, and you can share their wisdom, their story to inspire others. And because you're better, you're no longer shy, you're better at communicating and listening, much more interesting person, is going to allow you to connect at a much deeper level with anyone you talk to. Not just business, even your family, your friends, your kids, your relationships, whatever. Because that's all about. It's about communication, connecting. And if you add all of these together, you become a much more powerful, charismatic, not just leader and speaker, but human being, men and women. That's what it's all about. So as you can see, these soft, if you call it soft skills that podcasting allows you to gain, are much more invaluable than any financial gains that you can get from that. Because for you to be able to get that big client, to connect with your client, to build trust and rapport, you need to learn all of that. Does that make sense? So these are very powerful. And of course, nobody would be doing podcasting. I certainly wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't fun. It's very fun. I love listening to people's stories. I love connecting. I love learning from people. I love inspiring people. And last but definitely not least, it's going to allow you to find your voice, your passion, your purpose, your ikigai. And once you do, then you become your person you're meant to be. So these are some of the most powerful benefits of podcasting for you personally. Of all of these, which one do you think are the top three, in your opinion? There's no right or wrong answers. It's in your opinion. Or rather, for you as a human being, where you are in life, which one of these would you think would benefit you the most? Not from a business perspective, from a personal perspective, because these are all for personal.
Well, the opportunity to upgrade, up level ourselves, become a better version of ourselves.
Yes.
In a sense of become even a better servant.
Yes. Yes. Anyone else wants to add to that? All right, let's keep going. Now, let's take a look about the benefits for your business. So before you can even benefit from your podcast, from your business, you need to integrate and learn all of these, because it's all about connecting, making the other person feeling seen and heard. So Your podcast can allow you to attract your exact ideal clients, listeners, and prospects because, as I mentioned earlier, all of the people that can really relate with you, resonate with you, identify with you will listen to your podcast. But that's okay because you don't want someone that's not your tribe to listen to you. It's going to be a waste of their time and your time. Your podcast is going to be a phenomenal platform that's going to allow your audience to get to know you because over the course of, whatever. In each episode, you will give them a glimpse of your personality, your sense of humor, your background, your story, your expertise, your wisdom, and so on and so forth. And by doing so, you will be building a very intimate connection with the audience. Just take a look at how you feel towards guests of podcasts you've been listening to so far. You feel that you know these people, that they're almost friends, even though you have never met them and never will meet them. Here's a very big one. And I'm going to dedicate an entire slide on that because that's incredibly powerful. Your best clients will be your podcast listeners. Let me repeat that. Your best clients will be your podcast listeners. I will share with you guys a stat that I challenge any one of you guys or anyone in the world to beat that. Not beat that, but to find anything that comes even close to that. 100% of my clients have come from my podcast. Let me repeat that. 100%. I don't do any social media. I don't do any email marketing. I don't spend time posting or reels, even though maybe I know I should to get to the next level. But for now, 100% of my clients have come from my podcast, or I've been listeners of my podcast. And I will dedicate an entire slide, a few slides later, on that alone. Can you guys tell me why that is possible? Why your best clients will be your podcast listeners? There's no right or wrong answers, so don't feel bad. Go ahead, Sharon.
Because they trust you, and it's like my business is only referral based, and because people trust me, and therefore the people that come to me trust who's referred me, but they get to know you and they feel like you'll resonate with them and they trust you, and that's why they'll come to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. You were so right that my microphone started getting excited, so he almost fell on me, but that's okay. Absolutely. Michael, good evening, brother. Thank you for being here. You raised your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, in my experience, and you even mentioned it earlier, what I've realized is like when we work with a client, with a student, a mirror, we tell them we're really a mirror of their future self.
That's it.
So when they hear a podcast, they hear the whisper of the future self speaking through you. So
That's
it's
it.
like I want to be where that person is. That's their higher self. So I love that you said that because that makes so much sense. And I really like I got this like in the student client relationship, but I never really thought about that as a podcast because I do my lives, but just like you stated, like when you do your structure for your podcast, if your podcast isn't intentional, like your live is intentional, because I get on the live and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna channel the message. And yes, we can channel the message, but it also needs to be grounded. And I really appreciate that you bring that groundedness and not just, hey, I'm just gonna go and follow my heart because I've done that. And when you follow your heart, sometimes you give too much and you don't get a call to action and you don't serve no one.
That's it.
So yeah, I appreciate this.
Thank you, Michael. You said one thing that's really powerful, and I noted it says, you said we are a reflection mirroring our student. They want to be where we are. Because again, when someone is looking for a coach, they're not looking for a disconnected multi-millionaire billionaire. They're looking someone that is one, two, three, at most four steps ahead of them, someone that they can relate with, identify with, resonate with, see them as one of them, someone that is accessible and reachable. They want someone that has successfully overcome what they're currently going through. And this is why the best, most impactful, transformational, and profitable business you can start today is a business of you sharing how you overcame whatever you overcame, so that people that are already going through it right now, they can get inspired. You can just extend you and say, "I'll take my hand. I've been in your shoes. I know what it feels. I've made it, and I'm gonna be here for you." So you can. All you have to do is just share your story, by speaking from the heart of how you overcame whatever crap that they're going through them right now. Because again, your crap is your gold. Your message, your message. Don't discard those. Thank you. Here's a very powerful next compelling reasons on how podcasting will drastically benefit your business. Sure, it's going to be an amazing lead generation machine. But before being a lead generation machine, it's going to be a tremendous lead education machine. Because our number one task as coaches, mentors, activators is that of educating our audience about what is the problem. We don't know what we don't know. We have to explain to make them understand what is a problem, why the problem is here in the first place, and what's going to happen if they don't take any drastic action right now. And because you are the one that enlightened them, that opened their eyes to what is a problem, that's going to elevate you by default as their expert. They're going to go to you, no one else. So this is why our main task, number one task as coaches, mentors, and activators, I love this term, activator, is going to be that of enlightening them, educating them. Hey, this is a problem. Why the problem is here in the first place? What's going to happen if you don't take any massive action? And then they realize, wow, that's really, it's a big problem. Now, the next question that comes to their mind is, how do I solve this? Without you even having to pitch to sell them, they will ask us, so how do we solve this? And they will refer to you because you were the one that really made them understand the full extent of the problem. So this is why by you sharing your story, displaying your expertise, it's going to really elevate you as an expert, not just an expert, but their expert, their authority, their leader. They will look up to you. Your ultimate goal as a coach, mentor, activator is to be seen as their go-to person and whatever you're doing. And podcasting is going to allow you to do that. Do you guys see how that makes sense and how powerful that is? Awesome. Now, of course, the last one is very obvious. We all know that. Podcasting is going to allow you to leverage your content for endless content. You can take the long format interview, make shorts, highlight reels, blog posts, quotes, whatever. We've all been doing that. And as I mentioned earlier, your podcast for your business can allow you to elevate you and position you as not just the expert, authority, and leader, but their expert, their authority, their leader in your field. You will become their go-to person in that field. And of course, podcasting is wonderful, fantastic for networking. Podcasting has become the new golf. Can't tell you how many business of all sizes, from small to multi-billion-dollar business, all started as a result of just two people connecting on a podcast. Nowadays, I only and exclusively do business with people I met on my podcast. You guys, I'm sure you get flooded each day by friend requests from people, and from the first message, they start pitching you. I used to reply to these people and say, hey, listen, if you want to do business with me, get to know me. Now I don't even bother. My policy is I only do business with people I know from my podcast. For example, my publisher, Mary Gooden, she's going to be on day 4. She was a guest on my podcast in the summer of 2021. Then she became a student in my first academy class in December of 2021, and then in 2022, I started doing a book with her. And long story short, now she's my publisher, my copywriter, my PR person. Everybody I deal with today, I've all met on my podcast. So again, whenever you're looking for someone to help you with your business, the best way to vet them is to have a conversation with them on a podcast. See what I mean? I swear to you guys, I'm getting goosebumps right now. That's how powerful that is. And of course, last but definitely not least, podcasting is a phenomenal launching pad for much bigger things. For example, for me, when I started my podcast 4 years ago, I had no clue, even no idea how to turn that into a business. But then my podcast started to grow. Mind you, not in numbers, but in episodes and the reach and the lives of people. It really started to impact me, to inspire me, to save my life. Because as you guys know, I was in such a bad spot that was literally suicidal. Because no matter what I was doing, nothing was working for me. And then when I was talking to these people that had overcome 1 billion times more painful things than me, people that have lost it all, went to jail, people that have survived literally terminal diseases, people that had life-altering accidents, becoming paraplegic, handicapped. Listening to these people and then telling me, hey, listen, just because you're going through some temporary financial challenges, that's not a reason for you to give up. And that's what literally saved my life. Forget about that. And then, sorry, on top of that, then it blessed me with a beautiful business, allowed me to reach one of my goals and dreams of becoming an author, doing public speaking, TED Talk, keynote speaker, and so on and so forth. If you have any intention, any desire to do either corporate training or public speaking, becoming sought after speaker, there is no better place to start on a podcast. Whenever you reach out to these people that are hosting events or whatever, and they ask you, can I see your portfolio? Just shoot them a link to your podcast or to your YouTube channel. That's going to be your portfolio. Seriously, podcasting is incredible for anything else. One of the ladies that did a talk, she's a very successful PR lady. She started a podcast way back, and then the local radio station was looking for someone to run the radio station. They were looking for people, they couldn't find anyone, and then they stumbled upon that person's podcast. And long story short, she was hired, and she was running not one but two shows at a very popular radio station. So again, there's no limit where podcasting can lead you. Do you guys see how powerful as a launching pad podcasting can be? It's not just about having a conversation, but yes, having a conversation is the starting point, because we do business with people we like, relate, and trust, and the best way to do so is by simply having heart-to-heart conversations. Last but definitely not least, if you put all of these together, having your own podcast can allow you to drastically reduce the sales cycle of whatever you're selling, especially if you're selling anything high ticket, 5, 10, 15, 20, $30,000 packages. If you're not there, you will get there. This is what is going to allow you to do that. Can you guys tell me why and how having your own podcast will allow you to reduce the sales cycle of whatever you're selling? And also because I need to take a sip, so I'm going to shut up for a second and let you guys speak. Who wants to take a go at that?
Many ways they're selling themselves. Because they're listening to us, they are right away determining that what we are offering is what they want. So it's not anything about us trying. I mean, it's not ever about us convincing. It's not even us about saying, hey, well, this is what you offer. It's them saying, I want to work with you. What do you offer?
That's it. Anyone else wants to add to that?
And a podcast is a very effective way to shorten the process of building trust, because people see you, feel you, and they don't need an explanation. This is this deep knowing. This is my man. This is my woman I've been waiting for my whole life.
Yeah.
Thank you for appearing in my life.
Exactly, because it's all about trust. It's all about trust. Just like in Shark Tank, when the sharks invest, and they've mentioned that numerous times, when they invest in this business, it's 5 to 10% of the business, but 90% the person they invest in. Because if I can trust you, if I can relate, I can build rapport with you. We're not gonna talk, let alone do business with. But once we do, I do trust you, and you trust me. That opens up the world and wallets. So again, that's why it drastically reduces the sales cycle of whatever you're selling, especially high ticket selling. So of all of these benefits of podcasting for your business, I'm sure there's many more, but these are just the bigger ones. Which one or two do you think will be the most impactful for you as a business, especially where you are currently? And which one of these will allow you to get to where you want to go? Who wants to go first? Which one of these? Go ahead, Michael.
I was actually writing on the thing, so I heard half of your question, but I was interested in half of your question. But I was writing to tell you, excuse me for the interruption, payment.
No worries.
When you said radio station, I have a DJ that he's been wanting to do a podcast, so this is perfect. In day three, he's still not too behind, right? He can join.
Oh, yeah, bring him on. Bring him on.
Okay, I'm gonna actually
And
reach out to
then,
him. I'm gonna call him, but I was sending him a message. So yeah, I'm seeing like this is bigger than like not that I didn't appreciate it before, but it's just like open up to love, it just gets bigger when you think you've hit the point, right?
yep,
This is how I'm seeing podcasts. It's like, oh my gosh, like this is I couldn't see these little corners that you're opening up of this, beautiful mansion of podcasting. So thank you.
very welcome.
Um, can you clarify the question unless anybody
Question
wants to go?
is,
Because I'm
of all of these beautiful benefits of podcasting for your business, which one or two of these would you think would benefit you, your business, the most, especially where you are right now, to take you from where you are currently to where you want to go?
I actually, a part of the conversation we had yesterday with you personally, Payman, is one before I go there is so much. But one thing that came to me is like, you're literally giving a virtual resume.
Yeah,
You're letting people know this is who I am.
that's
And
it.
the more authentic you can be with that resume, it's like, you're basically uh, applying for both the job and you're applying for people to trust you. So maybe somebody doesn't trust you, but they're like, you know what? I know someone who could hear this guy right now, but like I can't tell him that. Or maybe a cousin or one of their children. It's not just gaining a client. It's, oh, this person can help, my child because it resonates, something that I've been trying to tell them. And to hear from someone else that looks like an expert, you're actually helping build relationships, like behind the scenes and things. So that's one. The second one is that I mean, when you said educate, it's really like where the word comes from, educate. It's to induce knowledge from within, induce the knowing from within.
Hmm.
So people got a confused standard of education. They think the more books I read, the more knowledge I know, the more that I'm going to be awakened and enlightened, or I'm going to, feel, I'm going to get, be successful or happy in life. But what you're bringing, payment is that you're saying be authentic and you're going to connect with their authenticity because they're going to be like, wait a minute, like, I don't know why, but I feel like, I know this person in another life or something like that. I mean, that is like, the call to action that's riches to someone's soul. It's
Yeah,
like when there's a bond that they can't even explain.
yeah,
Like I tell people when you meet someone, you're like, you look familiar for some reason. I'm like,
yes,
you're not familiar with my face, you're familiar with my heart because that's your
yes,
feeling. And they're
exactly.
like, oh my gosh, like I never thought of that. And anyways, so yeah, I really like those two takeaways. I got so many
Yes,
takeaways. I mean,
thank you.
lastly, the one that really, really hit me, that I was like, oh my gosh, Payman, you're a genius. I've never heard this before.
Thank you.
When you said fantastic for networking, besides that, but when you said podcasting is the new golf, like
Yes,
I hear all the time, if you want to meet very successful people, you want to have opportunities, you go golf with people. And I never really understood that because I've never golfed.
yeah,
But when you said that, I hear so many people saying you should learn how to golf, Michael, you should learn how to golf. And I'm
yeah.
like, I'm not going to do something that really doesn't interest me. But this interests me. I mean, I'm going to golf virtually. So this is beautiful.
I want to thank you. I want to add two things. One, you talked about the resume. In resumes, most people lie, and you can't really know. I've done it. Probably all of us done it. Not lie, but embellish it. But on a podcast, you can't do that, especially if you want to survive, because you have to be authentic. You have to speak from the heart. If you're just speaking to sell with an agenda, people will see through the BS and you'll lose them before you can even say hi. But if you want to stand out, you have to speak from the heart, be authentic. You cannot lie. You cannot embellish things. Especially once you get into a zone, things get channeled through you and you don't control that. It's a magical process. So that's something that really stand. I want to say something else, but I'm just having a blank. But anyways, let's move on. But I really want you to really understand the full extent of how powerful podcasting can be. It's way beyond just talking to someone. It's opening the doors to everything, to blessings, to opportunities, to everything, because it's all about trust. All right, to summarize all of that, it's gonna allow you to have a much deeper connection with your audience through a podcast. Because again, once you build, it's going to allow you to build that indispensable trust and rapport. And once you do that, there's no need for you to pitch, to sell, to convince, to chase. As I like to say in a funny, cheesy way, to seduce or kidnap someone to do business with him. It's a natural, automatic, organic progression. Hey, Lorna, Sharon, Madalena, Michael, payment. What do you do? Oh, I do X for Y. Oh, wow, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And what I'm going to teach you next in the next few days, we're going to be very strategic as to who we bring on the podcast. We're going to bring basically, we're going to interview our prospects. And all of that will stem from what we're going to cover tomorrow, which is identifying your zone of genius, your gift, what is the number one pain point you can solve, and for who, and then simply identifying where is that person hanging out and simply inviting them. Very simple, but incredibly, incredibly powerful. All right. Do you guys know this guy? Russell Brunson? One of the smartest guys out there, is a co-founder, one of the co-founders of ClickFunnels, a multi-billion-dollar company. Here's a quote. Music and radio listeners make on average $60,000 a year, while podcast listeners make on average $120,000. Can you guys guess why that is? Why do podcast listeners make on average twice as much as non-podcast listeners? Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, Sharon. Unmute yourself, please.
Because they want information and they want to grow. So they're into self-improvement, growth, and they're looking for information that helps them to do that.
That's it. That's a great way. Anyone wants to add to that?
I feel that music and radio, I mean, yeah, it's beautiful. I don't really listen to music and radio, but I mean, I sometimes do, but when you listen to music, you listen to radio, it's more music is entertaining and radio is information that sometimes just gets overwhelming.
Yeah.
And when you listen to a podcast, it's identifying, relating, and
Mhm.
like you said about trust, relating is when you relate with someone, it's like you don't even have to think about your trust someone. It's like, wait a minute, like I lived through that. I went through that. It's like you're not even thinking about the person, you're thinking
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
you. And there's
Absolutely.
no like it's an opportunity to unite
Yeah.
without, because music and radio, it's like competition a lot. I'm not saying all of it, but music and radio, it's like success, rat race, all of these different things. There are very good music out there. I know there is.
Mm.
But it's compared to the percentage of music and radio, is there so much of a percentage of
Mhm.
violence, sex, gossip? Uh, so of course there's going to be
Yes.
very people with low vibration,
Mhm.
right? And when you have a podcast, people that do podcasts, like you said, if they fake it, I mean, they're going to get successful, but their audience is not going to grow. They're going
Yes.
to use the energy of the audience so they can grow instead of, you know, feeding their audience, fueling their audience so they can grow. And all of a sudden, it's a win, like you said, it's a win-win-win because we're actually, when we do a podcast and work with, it's like working with someone, but you're actually speaking to your shadow. So
Mhm.
it's like you're just elevating the collective. It's just amazing.
Yes. Yes. These are great, great reasons. The main reason for that is, and don't get me wrong, I love music. I can't live without music. But the main difference why listeners make on average twice as much as non-podcast listeners, because podcast listeners, they understand the value of self-investment. Not only they understand that, but also they have the means to invest in themselves and programs like what you guys and me offer to level up. I'm not saying people that listen to music don't, but on average, the people that do listen to podcasts, they're much more successful. They have much more clarity. They know what they want, and people of clarity tend to be more successful. And when you have that clarity, you're successful. You want to level up. You want to gain information is going to allow you to go to the next level, and that's why podcasting is phenomenal because unlike radio, sure you can to some extent, you can really select who you're going to listen to, and what topic, which person. So this is why, and also because you know you can really select, you can choose because any given topic. There's plenty of people, but you can choose the one that relates with the most with you. But the main point of that is that the people that listen to podcasts, they know what they want, they have clarity, and as a result, they're more successful, they have more disposable income, and they understand the value of self-investing. And as a result of that, you will attract a much higher caliber of clients to your podcast because when someone listens to you, as I said earlier, sure, they're interested in your topic, but most importantly, they like you. They like your sense of humor, your personality. They can identify with you, relate with you. They can see themselves in you, and so on and so forth. So this is why. And this is what I meant earlier when I said that your podcast listeners will be some of your best clients, precisely because of that. And as I mentioned earlier, 100% of my clients have come from my podcast. Now, can you guys, from your personal experience in your business in getting clients, have you encountered any other platforms or approach that has got you? First of all, what approach has allowed you, has given you the best ROI in terms of getting clients? And does any one of that comes even close to a podcast, which is 100%?
No.
Anyone wants to share what has been so far the main client acquisition or client getting approach so far? Let's see. Yeah. Referrals. Yes, absolutely. And referrals are powerful because, again, it's based on trust, on rapport, coming down.
I would like to
So,
share, Lorenzo,
go ahead.
events, like going to events,
Yes.
like Sharon said, referrals. And the other thing is, just going out and being yourself,
Yes.
you know.
That's it.
But there's not one thing that's 100%. So when you said 100%, I was like, wow,
No, of course.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, because when I started 4 years ago, I was completely broke. I didn't have anything. I had to start somewhere. And I started with, and one thing I will tell you guys, Facebook groups are a gold mine. For the first 2.5 years, 100% of my clients came from the Facebook group. And this is why I will be tremendously grateful eternally for the Serving Circle. Out of my 400 episodes of my podcast, a good 50% of them come from the Serving Circle. And I would say a good 60% of my clients for the first year and a half, 2 years, have come from the Serving Circle. So that group is an absolute gold mine. Because again, it's all about serving, helping, not about getting or selling. That's very important. So when you build your business around serving, around helping, things change. You will stand out. This is why the first question I ask anyone I talk to, especially if it's business related, the first question I ask them is, how can I help you shine brighter than you're currently shining? How can I help you win? It's not about me, but about you. Because when you win, guess who's gonna win? Me. Of course, I'm gonna get the business, but also I'm gonna get referrals and so on and so forth. So I saw a YouTube short not long ago that said the main reason the majority of people that do business online or get on calls fail is because when they get on a call, they set themselves up for failure from the beginning. They go on a call with one intention only, and that is how to close that person. But when you go on intention to close that person, you're closing yourself off. You're closing yourself off to magic. Instead, go with intention not to close, but to help, to serve, to to help, to serve, to make them win. Because when they win, and they see that you sincerely want to help them, you have nothing to sell but providing as much value as you can to help, then there is a psychological principle called the law of reciprocity. When you do something for someone, hey, 99% of people, as long as they're not psychopaths or whatever, they will want to reciprocate. Oh, how can I help you? I can't tell you how many times after just speaking with someone, providing them with some tips and value on a call, the next question is said, so how can I help you? Which is human nature. You want to give back because you see that the person wants to help you. So if you're up, I know you guys are all on that. You understand that. Make your objective the other person to help them. And also, as I said earlier, when you get your own podcast, it's not about you. You're simply the host. The star of the show is the guest. I always say the person. It's not about me, but about you. I'm just the host. You're the star. Let's make you shine brighter than you're currently shining. and do it sincerely. And when you do that, they will see it, they will say, wow. And they will be compelled to, okay, how can I help you? Or even better, tell me more about your program. What do you do? See what I mean? It opens the doors without selling, pitching, convincing, chasing, or without having to seduce or kidnap someone to do business with them. So this is why it's very powerful. I've tried all kinds of different approaches, social media, SEO, but I've never got anywhere close to the ROI that podcasting is getting me. 100%. That's my favorite ratio. 100%. Why? Because it's all about trust. Always remember this. Business, especially high ticket selling, is about one thing and one thing only. Start with a T, ends with a T, 5 letters. Trust. How do you build that trust? By building rapport. How do you build that rapport? By having heart-to-heart conversations. When I get on a call with someone, my main goal is to get to know the person. I want to know who's Michael, who's Lorna, who's Sharon, who's Madlena, who's anyone. First and foremost, as a man, as a woman, as a human being, before the business person. Because if me and you, if we can connect, then that's going to open the doors to doing business. But if we don't connect, we're not going to talk, let alone do business with. So that's the gist of it. And that's something I will repeat over and over and over again, because that's the most fundamental principle of business. Because again, we're dealing with people. Maybe once we deal with AI, that's going to be different. But for now, hopefully still in our lifetime, we're still going to be dealing with people. And I saw something the other day that says, don't worry about AI. Do focus on what AI cannot do, which is building that trust, building that human touch. Sure, I can have AI do this presentation for me and put my avatar and, I can just be sleeping and I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I can do that. But will I have the opportunity to get that connection with you guys? Probably not. And probably after a day, you will not come back because, hey, I don't want to listen to a robot. With all respect due to our friend robots. So again, it's all about connection, connection, connection. So this is it for today. Any questions so far about today? Questions, comments, compliments? I love those. Come on, guys. Questions, because I know today was a big one. Go ahead, Michael.
I actually wrote it down. I have one question. Well, I have several questions, but I have nothing but gratitude for you. So
Thank you.
I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I love sounding like a broken record. Um, one of them was, let me pull it up. I was messaging the guy, the beautiful soul.
Mm.
Um, how many podcasts would you recommend a week?
Great question. My question to you would be, how aggressive do you want to be? How fast do you want to make money? How fast do you need to get things moving? You can do, I have students and clients who take it slowly. They do one podcast episode a week. And I have those that go hard and they go one podcast a day, Monday to Friday. The rule of thumb is very simple. I will cover that on Friday when I'm going to talk about how to actually make money with your podcast. The rule of thumb is very simple. If you do one podcast episode a week and you bring in your exact ideal prospect, as long as your offer is on point, you should be able to close one person, 1 out of 4. But if you go all in and you do one podcast episode Monday to Friday, you bring 5, you invite 5 of your prospect on a call, on a podcast, as long as your offer is on point, you should be able to get one client a week initially. That's the rule of thumb. The point, and to answer your question, depends on how hard you want to go and how fast you want to make money.
Well, I love doing this all day, so I could do 5 podcasts a day, but I know that that's, you know, like I literally
Yeah.
we just talk to people.
Okay, so my question was, as I said, on average, how many Zoom calls do you go on per day with your prospects for your business? 3 for you, 2, 2, 3 for you, Michael. How about you, Madlena?
2.
2. Okay, Lorna.
It varies. Sometimes not even one a day.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sharon, you still here?
Yeah. I don't solicit clients, they just come to me. So I don't ever do, I mean,
Perfect.
occasionally I'll do a 15-minute consult, but I don't do any
Okay.
of that.
So how many calls do you do per day that people that reach out to you?
Me,
Yeah.
I can do between 2 and 5 a
Okay.
day.
Cool. Now, that's beautiful. Now, here's another, I want you to look at things from a different perspective. What if you were to turn one of those calls each day into a podcast? You're not doing anything extra. Hey, let's rock and roll. Because again, the last thing people want to get onto is to another discovery call, another sales call. Nobody wants that. But instead, hey, listen, it's not about selling. It's about getting to know each other. Let's have a conversation. Just like I mentioned earlier, podcasting has become the new golf. Before it used to be, let's go play a round of golf, or let's go meet at the and chill at the country club. Now, hey, let's let's podcast. You can't believe how many businesses around the world, from a small to multi-billion-dollar businesses, collaboration, joint ventures, have started as a result of two people having a conversation. Because again, it's all about trust. Just like the Shark Tanks, 90% in what where you invest in someone is they invest in the person, only 10% in the business. Because if I trust you, if I know you're reliable, I can build rapport with you, then I will feel confident that the investment will make with you, whether it's through buying your services, your product, or investing in your business. I will have peace of mind. But if I can't trust you, no way. As my good friend would say here, no way in hell. You know, what's that? Okay. Anyways, so you guys, this is why podcasting, when you do, uh, can be so powerful. Does that answer your question, Michael? I know you asked the question a few minutes ago. Oh, wow. Why I'm getting kicked off again? Okay, stop sharing here. Okay. Oh, yeah, because the other,
I was actually asking the question, Payment, but
yeah.
if we're out of time, it's okay. We can continue tomorrow.
No, it's okay. We're finished here. Just one slide to show you guys when sneak peek into tomorrow. Are you guys seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So the next screen, oh,
Oh no,
sneak.
we see you. I didn't know. We're not seeing your screen. You're sharing.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Sneak peek into tomorrow. Before, just give me 2 more minutes. Let me share my last screen, and we're done for today. So sneak peek into tomorrow. So we're gonna be looking into your podcast. We're gonna start brainstorming about what your podcast is gonna be about, and I'm gonna introduce you to a central point of everything I do, and that's gonna help you big time, and that is identifying your zone of genius and your true gift. The best business, the most purposeful, impactful, and profitable business you can build is the one that is built around your zone of genius. So that all you have to do is just share your story, speaking from the heart, not having to invest 4 years into learning a new skill or a new whatever. No, it's not about that. It's about simply sharing your story. We've all been blessed with enough wisdom, experiences, life challenges, gone through enough crap in our lives that now we can take that crap and turn it into gold. So this is what's going to be today and also tomorrow, sorry, and who's your ideal client? What's going to be as a result of identifying zone of genius. Everything from now on will be very strategic. It's going to stem from the previous days, like a building house on top of each other. But all start with the central point of your zone of genius, your gift. So that's it for today. Any last minute question before we call it a day, a night? All right, thank you for being here with us. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank
Yes,
Payment,
Mike?
Payment, I don't
Bye.
want to take your time. I just want to say great job. If I'll ask my question tomorrow.
Please.
But thank you so much. It was great. I mean, beyond great. I mean, you just,
That was awesome. Thank you.
yeah,
Pleasure's all
you
mine.
did.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.